Hi everybody. On the Shabbos before Purim, which is called Shabbos Zachor, we read from the Seder of Kiteitzeh, and we're told that we have to remember Amalek for all the evil that she did for the Jewish people when they, as we're told, happened, and I use the word happened very carefully, happened upon the Jewish people after they came out of Israel, whilst all the other nations were trembling in fear after the miracle of the Red Sea. But not Amalek, they happened upon the Jewish people. Now, the word happened contains in it two letters of the Hebrew language, which is a kuf and a resh, which can also mean kar, which can mean cold. And Rashi explains this. Rashi is a famous biblical commentator, and he explains this word kar as follows. He says that what the Amalekites did is this, that they were faced with a boiling hot cauldron of water, and the other nations were frightened, as it were, to jump in metaphorically into this cauldron, but Amalek jumped in and cooled it down. They made the water kar. They cooled it down. And what does that mean? Is that they cooled things down so that eventually the other nations realized that they too could attack Israel. There was no problem in jumping into this metaphorically boiling hot cauldron anymore, because Amalek had paved the way, and that's why we're persecuted so consistently from the year dot. Anyway, so as a result of that, of course, Hamas has today indeed done the same thing. Not only did it commit the terrible atrocity on October the 7th, but what it's done actually is to repeat history and to say that it's quite right that these closeted anti-Semites, say the civilized academics, wherever they're from whichever universities, who have held their peace and not dared, as it were, to voice their anti-Semitism openly, they have been, as it were, people who realize now that this hot cauldron is no longer something which they need to be afraid of. Amalek has calmed it down. Hamas has now given them, likewise, these closeted anti-Semites, the courage to come out and hate Jews. And this is going on all over the world now. And obviously, I don't need to elaborate on that because you know yourself, you've seen what's happening. Places of higher learning now, such as Harvard and Oxford and Cambridge and MIT and Pennsylvania, all now causing great fear to the Jewish students who were once upon a time able to walk the campuses freely. That is no longer the case, and it's all because Hamas has given courage to these other anti-Semites who did not dare to speak out now to raise their voices. But what they don't realize, that although they are allies of Amalek, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said Amalek, I should have said Hamas. You draw your own conclusions, that one day they are strange bedfellows with Hamas, and those people who have evinced this terrible hatred against us now, who have now plucked up the courage to hate us publicly, they will, if I may use the well-known Yorkshire expression, they will cop it, and how they will cop it soon. So I want to say to you that Purim, which is coming upon us very shortly, is a festival which demonstrates more than anything else how the anti-Semite Haman and his cohorts and his family cannot prevail against the Jewish people. They couldn't have prevailed then. Similar Hamans, Hamas, call them Amalek if you want. I ask you to draw your own conclusions. They themselves now will fail, and the Jewish people and Israel and Zion will flourish forever and ever. Happy Purim, everybody.